Before she was a CEO, she was someone else. And the only person who would ever know the truth was the woman who received that photo by accident. Vivian Blackwood did not make mistakes. She built Blackwood Dynamics from a hostile takeover and a whispered scandal, rose to the top of London's most unforgiving boardrooms, and learned long ago how to keep her face still while the world burned quietly behind her eyes. So when her phone vibrated, twice, on the edge of her marble desk, she barely glanced at it. Until she did. And her breath left her body. The photo stared back at her. Soft lighting. Bare shoulder. The curve of skin she never showed anyone. A vulnerability she allowed herself only in locked penthouses and private mirrors. And beneath it, one line of text. Wish you were here. Vivian's fingers went numb. She hadn't sent that to her ex. She had sent it to Amelia Hart, her assistant. Amelia was mid-coffee when her phone buzzed. She almost ignored it. Vivian Blackwood did not text casually. Emails were precise. Messages were instructions. Phone calls were urgent. But when she looked, her heart stuttered. The photo wasn't obscene. It was worse. It was intimate. Vivian, unguarded. Human. Real. And suddenly Amelia knew something she was never supposed to know. The woman who ruled boardrooms alone at midnight was lonely. Amelia locked her phone, pulse racing, professionalism warring with something warmer, something dangerous. She had two choices. Pretend she never saw it. Or finally acknowledge the tension that had lived between them for months, unspoken, electric, impossible. Her phone buzzed again. Please delete that. It was not meant for you. V. Amelia swallowed. Then typed. I won't tell anyone. Anne, you're safe with me. Vivian stared at the screen. Safe. A word she hadn't believed in for over a decade. Vivian avoided Amelia for 3 days. Meetings were delegated. Notes were forwarded. Eye contact was forbidden. Because Amelia didn't just see her anymore. She knew. And knowing Vivian meant knowing things she had buried under tailored suits and ruthless success. Things like the name she used to have. The life she escaped. The woman she loved once, and lost violently. The night everything went dark. Amelia noticed the change immediately. Not the distance, but the fear. It wasn't arrogance behind Vivian's silence. It was panic. So when Vivian finally broke, late one evening, rain streaking the glass walls of the office, it wasn't with seduction. It was with truth. You think I'm powerful, Vivian said quietly, back turned. I think you're haunted, Amelia replied, gently. Vivian laughed. A sound sharp enough to cut. I wasn't always this person, she said. I wasn't always legal. And just like that, the assistant learned the first piece of the dark secret. Blackwood Dynamics was not Vivian's first life. It was her second chance. The office was empty except for them. London after midnight had a way of softening even glass and steel, rain turning the city into a smear of light and memory. Vivian stood by the window, arms folded tightly, as if holding herself together. My name wasn't Vivian Blackwood, she said. Amelia didn't speak. She had learned that silence was sometimes the kindest invitation. I was born Valeria Cruz, Vivian continued. South London. Council flat. A mother who worked 3 jobs. A girlfriend who believed I could outrun gravity. Her jaw tightened. I couldn't outrun what came after us. Amelia felt the words before she understood them. What happened? Vivian finally turned. Her eyes, so often cold, unreadable, were wet, furious with themselves for it. I fell in love with the wrong woman, she said. She was beautiful. Charismatic. Dangerous. She stole from people who didn't forgive theft. Amelia's heart thudded. She was killed, Vivian whispered. And I was there. Silence swallowed the room. They thought I was dead too, Vivian said after a moment. Witness protection. New name. New country. New rules. She gave a bitter smile. Rule number 1, never love anyone enough to ruin you. Amelia stepped closer without thinking. And yet, she said softly, you sent that photo. Vivian laughed, hollow and raw. I did. After that night, everything changed, and nothing did. Vivian remained the CEO. Amelia remained the assistant. The hierarchy stayed intact on paper. But behind closed doors, something fragile had cracked open. Vivian trusted Amelia with things she trusted no one else with, passwords, late-night confessions, the way she went still when sirens passed too close to the building. Amelia noticed the scars too, not just the ones on Vivian's body, but the ones in her behavior. How she flinched when touched unexpectedly. How she slept in her office some nights instead of going home. How she watched Amelia like she was both salvation and risk. You should fire me, Amelia said once, quietly, while organizing files neither of them needed. Vivian didn't look up. Why? Because this, Amelia gestured vaguely between them, isn't professional. Vivian's pen stilled. You think I don't know that? She said. You think I don't feel it every time you walk into a room? The air tightened. I have ruined one woman's life by loving her, Vivian said. I won't do it again. Amelia met her gaze, steady. You didn't ruin her, she said. The world did. Vivian closed her eyes. That was the moment she knew she was already lost. The message came from an unknown number. You didn't erase me as well as you thought. Vivian's blood went cold. She stared at the phone, memories crashing back like broken glass, aliases, sirens, the smell of smoke and metal. Someone new. Someone from before. And suddenly, Amelia wasn't just her assistant or the woman she wanted. She was in danger. Vivian looked up to find Amelia watching her, concern written openly on her face. What is it? Amelia asked. Vivian stood slowly. The past, she said. And this time, it didn't come alone. Vivian didn't sleep that night. She sat in her penthouse with the lights off, phone face down on the marble counter like it might explode if she looked at it again. The message replayed in her head, every syllable a ghost. You didn't erase me as well as you thought. By morning, she'd made a decision. It broke her anyway. From today, Vivian said coolly across the desk, you'll work remotely. Amelia blinked. What? It's temporary, Vivian added, already standing. Security reasons. Amelia stood too. Vivian, this doesn't make sense. It made too much sense. I'm your employer, Vivian said, voice turning sharp on purpose. This isn't a discussion. The hurt on Amelia's face landed harder than any threat ever had. Is this because of me? Amelia asked quietly. Because of what you told me? Vivian didn't answer. That was answer enough. 3 days later, Amelia showed up anyway. No badge. No appointment. Just resolve. Security tried to stop her. Vivian overrode it the moment she saw Amelia on the cameras. You don't get to decide my safety without me, Amelia said the second the office door shut. Vivian exhaled slowly. You don't understand what you're stepping into. I understand this, Amelia said, stepping closer. You're scared. And you think pushing me away will save me. Vivian's voice broke. It will. No, Amelia said gently. It will only leave you alone again. Silence stretched between them, heavy, fragile. I read your file, Amelia admitted. The gaps. The years that don't add up. Vivian stiffened. I know someone's looking for you, Amelia continued. And if they find me first, I don't want to be clueless. Vivian stared at her like she was seeing her for the first time. You're not afraid, she said. I am, Amelia replied. I'm just not leaving. The woman from the past didn't look like a ghost. She looked alive. Confident. Smiling. Waiting across the street one evening when Vivian left the building with security in tow. Vivian stopped cold. Hello, Valeria, the woman said, voice smooth as memory. You changed your name again. Amelia felt Vivian's hand curl into hers without thinking. The woman noticed. Oh, she said softly. So you broke your rule. Vivian didn't let go. She's not part of this, Vivian said. The woman laughed. You said that last time too. That was when Amelia understood the real danger. This wasn't just about exposure. It was about unfinished love. Unfinished betrayal. A past that didn't want forgiveness, it wanted reckoning. That night, Vivian told Amelia everything. No omissions. No armor. And when she finished, Amelia did the one thing Vivian never expected. She stayed. I don't need you to be clean, Amelia said. I need you to be honest. Vivian pressed her forehead to Amelia's. For the first time, she whispered, I don't want to run. Amelia smiled, soft and sure. Then don't, she said. Not alone. The board meeting was meant to be routine. Quarterly earnings. Expansion votes. Polite applause. Vivian sensed it before it happened, the shift in the air, the way her security chief stiffened near the door. Then the screen behind her flickered. A photograph appeared. Not the one sent to Amelia. Older. Grainy. A woman with dark hair and a smile Vivian hadn't seen in 15 years. A name stamped beneath it in police lettering. Valeria Cruz, presumed deceased. Gasps rippled through the room. Vivian didn't turn around. She didn't need to. Her past had finally stepped into the light. Amelia stood at the edge of the room, heart pounding, watching men who had never feared anything suddenly look unsure of the woman they followed. Vivian raised a hand. Turn it off, she said calmly. The screen went dark. Then she did something no one expected. She told the truth. Not everything, but enough. I was someone else once, Vivian said evenly. I survived something that was meant to destroy me. And everything I built here was built legally, ethically, and with intent. Silence. Then, is your life still in danger? A board member asked. Vivian paused. Yes, she said. But so is anyone's who dares to matter. Her eyes found Amelia's. And in that look, Amelia understood, this wasn't a confession. It was a declaration. The headlines came fast. CEO's hidden past exposed. Blackwood identity under scrutiny. Power, lies, and reinvention. By morning, Amelia's inbox was full of offers. Other companies. Better titles. Safer distance. Vivian didn't ask her to stay. That hurt more than asking would have. So Amelia packed her desk quietly. Vivian found her halfway through. You're leaving, Vivian said, not accusing, just stating. I'm choosing, Amelia replied. You taught me that. Vivian nodded, swallowing something sharp. I won't stop you. Amelia met her gaze. I'm not leaving you, she said. I'm leaving your shadow. She placed her badge on the desk. When you're ready to stand beside me instead of above me, Amelia said softly, you know where to find me. Then she walked out. And for the first time since becoming Vivian Blackwood, Vivian let herself cry. The woman from the past returned one final time. No games. No smiles. You ruined my exit, she said. You ruined my life, Vivian replied. The confrontation was quiet. Brutal in its honesty. And when it ended legally, finally, permanently. No more ghosts. No more running. Vivian walked out into daylight alone. But not empty. 6 months later. A new company launch. Smaller. Private. Clean. Vivian stood nervously in a cafe she'd never owned, never controlled. Amelia walked in, confident, radiant, no badge around her neck. "You came," Vivian said. "I said I would," Amelia replied. Vivian took a breath. "I don't want an assistant," she said. "I don't want power over you. I want you, if you still want me." Amelia smiled, eyes bright. "On equal ground?" she asked. Vivian nodded. "Always." The press conference was meant to be boring. A rebrand announcement. Numbers. Strategy. Safe language. That was what everyone expected from Vivian Blackwood. Amelia stood just off stage, not as an assistant, not as an employee, but as a partner in every sense that mattered. She wasn't nervous. She was steady. That alone told Vivian everything. Vivian stepped to the podium. Flashes exploded. She waited until the room settled. "There was a time," Vivian began, "when I believed visibility was a weakness. When I believed love was leverage someone could use against me." A ripple of curiosity moved through the room. "I was wrong." She paused, then did something she had never done in public before. She looked back. At Amelia. Not quickly. Not nervously. Fully. "I survived my past by hiding," Vivian continued. "But I built my future by choosing honesty. And I won't pretend anymore." A beat. "The woman you've seen beside me for years, Amelia Hart, is not my assistant. She is my equal. My partner. And the person I choose, every day." The room went silent. Then louder than silence, cameras, gasps, whispers. Amelia didn't move. Vivian stepped away from the podium and held out her hand. Amelia took it. That was the photo that went viral. Not scandal. Not shock. Just two women standing unguarded in the light. The house by the sea was quiet that evening. No headlines. No phones. Just the sound of waves and a familiar calm that felt like victory. Amelia was in the bedroom when she noticed it. The light. Soft. Intentional. Warm. She stepped onto the balcony, and stopped. Vivian stood there, barefoot, wearing a simple shirt, sleeves rolled up. No suit. No armor. In her hand was a phone. Amelia's breath caught, already knowing. Vivian held it out. On the screen was the photo. The one that started everything. Not the original, but recreated. Same angle. Same soft light. Same vulnerability. But this time, it wasn't a mistake. "I spent my life afraid of being seen," Vivian said quietly. "Then I sent one photo by accident, and you saw me anyway." Amelia felt tears burn. "I don't want accidents anymore," Vivian continued. "I want choice. Intention." She lowered the phone, and knelt. "I don't need a new name or a new life," Vivian said. "I need you. As my wife. As my home." She opened the box. Simple ring. Elegant. Unshowy. Perfect. Amelia laughed through tears. "You really don't do subtle, do you?" Vivian smiled, soft, unguarded, real. "Only with you." Amelia didn't hesitate. "Yes," she said. "I choose you. I always have." Vivian slipped the ring onto her finger like it had always belonged there. The sea kept moving. The past stayed silent. And the photo that once exposed a secret became proof of a love that never needed hiding again. They chose dawn. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was honest. The beach was empty except for them, a narrow stretch of pale sand where the ocean breathed in slow, steady rhythms. The sky was just beginning to soften, pink and silver melting together like a promise still forming. No guests. No press. No names spoken loudly enough to echo. Only a woman who had survived, and a woman who had stayed. Vivian wore linen instead of silk. Amelia wore white, but not bridal, just herself. Barefoot, hair loose, eyes brighter than the horizon. They stood facing each other, the wind moving gently between them, carrying salt and memory. Vivian spoke first. "I spent most of my life learning how to disappear," she said quietly. "How to survive by becoming smaller, harder, quieter." She took Amelia's hands. "Then you saw me, by accident, and didn't look away." Amelia smiled through tears. "I promise you this," Vivian continued. "I will not run. I will not hide. I will choose you, when it's easy, and when it terrifies me." She swallowed. "You are my truth. My home. My name, no matter what I'm called." Amelia lifted Vivian's hands to her heart. "I never wanted to be your safety," she said softly. "I wanted to be your place of rest." Her voice steadied. "I promise to stand beside you, not behind you. To remind you who you are when the past whispers too loudly. To love you when you forget how to be gentle with yourself." The ocean surged, as if agreeing. They exchanged rings, simple, unadorned, eternal. No officiant announced them married. They kissed instead. Slow. Certain. Real. And the sea bore witness. Time softened everything. The house by the ocean aged gracefully, salt-kissed wood and open windows that never quite closed. Vivian no longer flinched at the sound of waves hitting stone. Amelia still hummed in the kitchen. Some mornings were quiet. Some were full of laughter. One afternoon, years later, they walked the beach hand in hand, older now, lines earned, love settled deep and sure. "Do you ever miss who you were?" Amelia asked. Vivian considered it. "I honor her," she said. "But I don't miss her." She stopped walking, turning to Amelia. "She got me here." They watched the horizon together, the way they always had, no urgency, no fear of what might resurface. Only the present. Only each other. And somewhere, in a drawer inside the house, a phone still held a photo. Not as a reminder of a mistake, but as proof. That one moment of being seen can change everything. 10 years later, no one called her a ghost anymore. Vivian Blackwood, formerly Valeria Cruz, stood on the balcony of a sunlit home overlooking the sea, barefoot, coffee cooling in her hands. No security detail. No panic at passing sirens. Just wind, waves, and the sound of someone she loved moving around the kitchen. Amelia always hummed when she cooked. Some habit survived everything. They never married in a headline-making way. No spectacle. No rings flashed for strangers. They chose a small ceremony instead, 2 witnesses, ocean air, and vows spoken like truths rather than promises. "I choose you," Amelia had said. "And I choose to stay," Vivian replied. It was enough. Their company thrived quietly. Ethical. Purposeful. Boring to tabloids, which was exactly the point. Amelia ran operations now. Vivian handled vision. Equal ground, just as they'd sworn. Sometimes the past still tapped on the glass. But it no longer had teeth. Vivian no longer flinched when she heard her old name in her head. It had softened into memory instead of threat. A woman she had been. A life that had led her here. Amelia joined her on the balcony, leaning into Vivian's side. "Thinking again?" she teased. Vivian smiled, pressing a kiss to Amelia's temple. "I was thinking," she said, "that one wrong photo saved my life." Amelia laughed. "You terrified me." "I trusted you," Vivian corrected. That was new. They stood there in the quiet, the kind that comes only after storms, after running, after choosing to stay anyway. Below them, the sea moved endlessly forward. Vivian watched it without fear. For the first time in her life, she wasn't surviving. She was home.